Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Sarah Lynn Amazing Brown, and this is Slab Stories. Today, the quick little review I have for you is the Trilogy spoiler review. A full well, we're not going to break down every instance of the movie because I really want this channel to be about inspiring you to watch the movies. And some of you may have not actually watched the movie still. So I still want you to go watch these movies on your own, and I don't want to spell them out for you all the way. But I do want to tell you some things that I saw that were a spoiler for each film. The first film, major spoiler, the driller killer. He's just an unknown person, which that's kind of like there's no backstory there. I really wish there was more backstory with who he was as a killer. As a killer, you in the movie, you kind of want a story. You want to know a little bit more. There's not really very much there for that, but it is still really fun, campy horror. You know, the victim in the lead in the movie, Trish, she's fighting for her life. She's fighting for her friends. They get smart. They're actually try some really smart maneuvers, but they can't, overhaul this crazy idiot with this drill that goes after them. Val was a final girl in this film, and her, you know, living this life and or living through this horror. Then on to the second film, the spoiler there. Courtney, her baby sister, who was a very precocious teen, like young girl, in the other movie, who they weren't allowing, of course, to go to the parties because she was too young. Now she is the killer. I mean, I have post traumatic stress disorder, but I would never in my life like no. So I don't buy that. Like from my personal experience, it really doesn't jive with me. I didn't really like the way Jamie Lee Curtis did it all the way. I thought there were some parts that were just a little too extreme, and I don't think they were. I think they're making a mockery of what people that have PTSD really actually go through and what we actually do. Because as someone that really has that, that's I have a very protective life, but I don't have a fucking mine shaft underneath with booby traps in it ready to catch a killer. Hell no, I'd call the fucking police. If somebody comes after me, there's no way that I'm gonna be a vigilante. Okay, so for Courtney to become the killer, it's like, really, this girl, she's like small, petite. She's not really very strong looking, and here she is drill killing people. I don't know. I don't know. I and the dream sequences, like I liked the body horror. I thought it was cool when the pimple was busting out her face. I thought that was a great scene, but oh yeah, this part two was very it wasn't. I like the rock and Billy side because the movie was so silly, and I wasn't really into the story very much because the story it was so focused on this Courtney girl that you really have to like her as a character, and she's kind of unlikable, and her accent throws it off for the character because she's got this southern drawl, and the other character didn't have any southern accent, and I think they're either in Chicago or California. Like they have California place, but they mention Chicago in one movie, so you know. I don't know, but I know they were in Alabama, and she kind of sounds like that, and so, and she's very, she doesn't have her emotions that she projects are so, self-absorbed, like not really. She doesn't really in the first movie, she wasn't very likable either. So her character was consistent with that. That she wasn't a likable little sister. She was an asshole little sister in the first movie, and she grew up to be an asshole sister, little sister that killed. And, it is what it is. On to number three. The killer in that movie is very perfect because this killer has an unbelievably perfect story for a driller killer. A driller killer is somebody who we would expect to have an obsession with penetration or inability to penetrate a woman because that is what the driller killer was doing. He's using his drill to penetrate women and men and maybe so And that there's the scene where he is extremely, they're getting it on, and I thought it was just kind of disgusting how he was kissing her chin and just looking on her face, and I was like, this is a really intense kiss scene. Like, what the frick are they doing? They're just all over the place with them. Like, he's licking on her chin. It's like, what the hell? And that, then he goes, right when she goes down to his waist, he's like, ugh, ugh. And then he just gets violent with her. So, like, I think in that first part, he didn't really get violent. He just was like, acting like, oh no, I don't want to do anything. I'm done. I just drank too much. And it's like, that makes sense. That 100% makes sense. But that movie, they did try to throw you off. It was so obvious that the people they were trying to throw you off with were not going to be the killer. Like the neighbor, they made the neighbor super creepy. So you're like, it could be the neighbor. It's not the neighbor. They had that guy lurking from the beach. No, it wasn't him. Then they had Duncan that shows up and pays a pizza person. They both take it, So I thought Slumber Party 3 was a lot of fun. There was a lot of fun to be had with that one. Definitely watch it on a streaming service, or if you can get a better copy, you'll have more fun with it, because I got through it with the 1990s rendition, but if you can find a better copy, I would highly encourage that, because it's easier to watch older films when you watch them in a high resolution. That's why it's very important when you do have older films to watch the ones that were shot by good directors and good cinematographers. And a lot of indie films, these are indie films, and all written and directed by women. This is a woman-led series. Women wrote these movies, they directed these movies. Roger Corman produced at least 2 of them, I know for sure. And they came out great. Women are great in film. We know what we're doing. So, I don't mind. I don't really care who makes the movie, if it's a woman or a man. I just care if the movie's good. I didn't know this movie was written by women or directed by women at first. Even though I had the movie in my collection and I've seen it years ago, I didn't know that. I just knew it now as I was watching it. I looked at the title and I was looking at some stuff on IMDb, and they were talking about how she is, is all women. We're doing this cast, and women of slasher movies, because women don't do slasher movies very often. But these women did a good job, and I like to, give them a round of applause, because the women did a good job. The series is solid. Out of the trilogy, I would just go 1 and 3 are the ones that are needed to watch. 2, you should watch just to see how heinous it can get, because the dream sequences that Courtney goes through are annoying, and that's why it's just like, you have to really like a character to go into dream sequences and spend that much time with one person, and she's not having any interactions with somebody else that you can bounce off of. This third one, the lead there had her boyfriend, and they were bouncing off of each other, so you felt that chemistry between them and then her friends. Courtney was extremely selfish of a character. Like, she wasn't like a good friend in the movie. Like, she was always going through some shit. She was hella emotional. So, like, all the other friends are having fun and doing shit, and Courtney's the one off to the side. But woe is me. I'm fucking bummed, man. It's like, damn, that ain't the fun friend. That's not the fun. We don't want to. And then we have to spend all this time with Courtney, zooming up on her and listening, watching her, going into her eyes, checking out her POV. And then we're in her dreamscape of her weird world. And it's just like, it's too much. You have to really like a character to spend time with them like that, and to watch them go into dream sequences and care. Because after a while, you're like, I don't fucking care. I don't know what the hell's going on. If it is her dream sequence and then she's going to be the killer, yeah, I see it coming a mile ahead. It is probably what it's going to be, and it doesn't make sense, because this drill killer is doing some pretty strong shit that, this little frail woman, I just don't see her doing that. I don't care how crazy you can be in the head, like, to just pick up some big old fucking power drill and, yeah, right? But I do encourage the watch of the trilogy. 1, 2, 3. Watch the movies. Let me know what's your favorite. Let me know if you skipped 2, if you watched 2, if you went 1, 3, and then came back to 2 just to see what it was. Hey, 1 and 2 right now are on Prime, and as of today, June 30th, it's a little late. So by about July 1st, they're still there. So you can still watch them right now if you go onto Prime and just check out Slumber Party 1. You'll enjoy that one. That one's fun. There is a lot of fun in that one. I feel like that was the best, well thought out script. That was the best, well thought out story. Number 2, super, super goofy. The girl is just, you'll totally understand it. I guarantee you when you watch number 2, you're going to be like, yeah, this does not seem like the sister from the part 1. Like, of course they're going to cast an older actress, but that actress, they just did not seem like the same person at all. I mean, there was, except the fact that they were both unlikable characters. Then go to number 3 and see, the fun came back. It's more of a fun movie because all the characters are having fun interacting with each other. And as a filmmaker and a storyteller, you can kind of see how those two films work better that way. And see if you see what I saw about how unlikable Courtney is in both films. In both films, she's just hard to follow because she's just like, that's not the friend you want to be around. Everybody's been in these groups before, and it's just like one friend, like, oh shit, she's in a bad mood. Don't fuck with her. Yeah, nobody wants to be with that girl, so we don't want to watch a movie about her and then be in her POV and have to find out what the hell is going on in her crazy fucking mind. It's like, tell me what's going on in the fun friend's mind. I want to see what the fun friend's thinking about. Because the fun friend's probably having some fun going. That's a party in the mind. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Anyways, that's it for the trilogy spoiler review. I only really talked about the killers and some things that I saw in the movie. Of course, this was a film about a driller killer, and the whole thing was him not being able to penetrate, or something like that. And they say there's a lot of feminine. I don't know about that part. I would just say that they were probably thinking about men that were unable to penetrate a woman, so they picked up a drill instead. Another reason why 2 doesn't really work, because why would she have that same motivation to enact the same thing? It's just like, because it happened to her, then that's taking advantage of the trope of PTSD makes you do exactly what happened to you. PTSD does not make you no, that's not how the shit works all the time. I mean, of course some people act out in the same way, but that's very, very rare. And for her to like be super strong, super strength to be able to commit those murders and do all that shit, it's just laughable. Whereas, part 3 comes through with the real good little story. They got these good chemistry between the friends. You see them having a good time. I mean, I actually like it when the girls get together. They're just dancing around in the living room. I remember that stuff, and we didn't do it on TikTok. We just put on some music and just hanging out with the friends. Everybody's hanging around dancing, having a good time. Yeah. Trying out some new dance moves. That part is extremely fun when they just start taking off their clothes, though, because it's super random. It's super random, and I highly doubt that. I don't think we ever did that at any of my summer parties. I don't think we ever did that. I'm pretty for sure we did not do that. Because that's kind of goofy. Yeah, let's just take off our tops. I think they were actually changing, but they dared each other to do a striptease or something. Yeah, I think that was it. They dared each other to do a striptease, but they also did change in the living room. Like, that was kind of weird. Like, when I had summer parties, I wouldn't change in the living room. I guess that was the gross thing, like the number one. When they're all sharing the bar of soap in the fridge and the shower. That was so gross. Oh, that was so gross. Sharing a bar of soap. So in part 3, they had that same thing where they all start just going to change into my sleepwear in the living room. I mean, that's weird. I think most people, when they're going to change clothes, they go and excuse themselves and go into another room. I don't think I ever stayed the night at a friend's house and just changed my clothes in their living room, whether I was 18 or not, and I never did that. I never stayed in nobody's house over age. So, anyways, that's all for the trilogy. I'm done rambling on about this. My next video, I'm going to be talking about some AI stuff. I had some chats with AI. I talked to Michael Myers. Oh yeah, I talked to Michael. I talked I talked to Michael Myers and I talked to Chucky. Oh, yeah, I talked to Chucky. Yes, I'm going to release all my AI chats. You can see what happened between me and Chucky, who wanted to kill me, said he was going to come to my house and kill me, and it turned around when I talked him down, told him about my dolls, and let him know that I have my own dolls here. And he got his, he understood. And Michael Myers, me and him chatted about our my dislike for his trilogy, his latest trilogy, and he agreed. And his chat is very interesting too. You guys have a wonderful night. Watch some movies with the family. Pop some corn. Throw on a movie. Get close to a loved one. Snuggle up. And watch a movie with your loved one. Good night.